All right, so this is the Wednesday, June 28th Cemetery Commissioners meeting at 6 p.m. Well, we're starting, we'll call it 6:06. How's that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yes.
For many reasons, being that, those Monday holidays always get me. And I thought I had posted it and I went to change something on it. It's like, oh, I didn't post it. Oh, well, then it wouldn't let me. So here we are. I think from now on, I'm going to post it weeks ahead of time and we can make changes as we need to. So
I know. It's so it's complicated.
yeah, it is. And it's just, the Monday holiday of the Juneteenth, I wasn't even on my radar. And so, oh, well, such is. All right. So first on the agenda is review and approve the minutes of the May meeting. I put May 17th, but it was actually, I guess, May 23rd.
Yeah,
So,
we had the same kind of
yep.
holiday thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think that makes much difference on the agenda, but it is the May meeting. The other thing yes, Susan, you asked me to get back to you on this beforehand and I didn't, but in under 10 A, maintenance of equipment, you asked, Walter Tibbetts has also ordered, it was oil filters and blades for
Okay.
the riding mowers.
Oh, for the riding mowers.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I'll correct that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was there anything else?
Nothing I see.
No, I think it was
You-
pretty good.
You
Otherwise.
send me and I missed it, the text of further additions to cemetery regulations. And if you didn't, don't worry, I know you've been busy with this family business, so
I have.
it is.
If I
Yeah.
had enough time this afternoon, I was, if I had enough time at various points in the past couple of weeks, I would have sat down and done it, but it's been one thing after the other.
It's all okay.
Yeah. We're doing well. We're doing well. So we're plugging along. Okay, so that's good with the minutes.
We're gonna vote on the minutes? Did we vote on the
Yes,
minutes?
yes, we should. Yeah,
I'll
very
move
much
to
so.
accept the minutes as drafted for May of 2023.
Can we say as amended? Because I
As
did,
amended, right,
Is-
because we amended them. So
Um,
as amended.
and I will second that then. Any further discussion on the minutes themselves then? Okay, hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. So Dina,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
and I vote aye also. So those have been
Thanks.
accepted.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing such a great job on those.
You really do. I so appreciate it, Susan.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Next is new burials and lot sales. I have met with several people. There was the one we talked about that wanted a green burial that we voted to accept, that they had enough
Yes.
ties to the town.
Right.
I met with her. She looked at some lots. She was really interested in one. She's just buying one plot. So we're trying to get it in with other lots that have been broken up, especially on the green burials. And I've been really kind of pushing that to people because we started getting a whole bunch that were just single lots here and there and really breaking up the full lots, the 8 plot, like family
Mhm.
lots if you want to.
Mhm.
And although she pretty much decided on one, she did not want to commit to it yet. She had to think about it. So that one's on hold. I met with some other people for burial plot in the Locks Pond Cemetery. They were really, they were setting a deadline for themselves to get it going because they had a lot of things coming up also. They went up there, spent some time looking at things, had somewhat decided, but again, not fully, and hasn't got back to me yet as to what they're looking for. Another person that we inquired about the Locks Pond Cemetery said, yeah, no problem. We know you're busy. We'll get to it at some point. No problem. Just wanted to let you know. So So those are all moving ahead in progress, but at least I've gotten back to the people and we seem to be moving ahead with it. So hopefully we'll have a few sales coming up.
Oh, that's good. So just to make sure that secretary has it right, you've
Yep.
talked to both the people interested in Luck Pond
Yep.
burials. One of
And
them is not fully committed and the other one's willing to wait to make a decision.
right,
later.
they weren't in any hurry. They said, yeah, when we get a chance, we'll meet up with you and we'll do it. So,
Okay. Okay, thank you.
yep. And then I met with the person for the green burials.
Yeah,
Who
I got
also
that.
has not made a commitment yet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on, I actually got off my butt and bought an external hard drive for
Woohoo!
the cemetery. I have put everything that I had digitally onto this. It's a little bit bigger than I had set out for. I was looking for like a 2 terabyte one, but something that was, in store. It's amazing how much you go into stores now and they have all these things on display and said, oh, if you want this one, order it online. So I wanted to walk away with something. So I picked up one that, okay, this one's says they're in store. So I went up to the counter with it, said, this is what I want. And they went check it. Oh, we don't have any more of those.
Oh,
I said, well,
jeez.
do you have any other ones? He said, yeah, we got this other one. It's a 5 terabyte one. I said, okay, but I don't want something that has to plug into an external power supply. I have a large one, but I have to plug it in all the time. It makes it hard to use. You can't use it mobilely. And they said, no, I think this one is good. And we got it and checked it. So it powers off the computer, a little short cable, dedicated cable. So that's good. I've tried it out. I've loaded everything I had onto there. In doing so, I realized in transformation from the old fire department computer to another memory device into the hard drive that I had and into this one, I had totally missed the year 2019. It never got transferred from the computer. So I went up to the town hall, got the files and recreated all of the paperwork for 2019 into the hard drive. And now there's a few from one year that, again, when things got transferred, I lost part of the year. It was a different year got put into that year's folder. So I do have to go back up and, pull out that folder and just, I don't think there was too many warrants, but all the payroll and timesheets were there. It was just the vendor warrants got misplaced or erased. So once I do that, everything will be up to snuff of everything I had from at least from digitally from 2014 on to now. So
Excellent.
That's great.
and then this can live in the in our drawer at the town hall, so everybody can have access to it. And it would be nice, like we said, I got something with enough storage that at some point we can bring my scanner up there and we can scan documents and just
Right.
put it onto here so we can have them saved. And then we can even take that and put onto another drive. So we have it stored in a couple different places. So we do have backup for historical reasons. So,
Oh, great.
all right. So got that.
Thank you, Walter.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad I finally got it done.
It does feel good.
Quickly going through things, update on expenses as of the expenditure ledger that was emailed out, I believe, yesterday, which I think has everything that we've done so far, although I did pick up some aviation fuel for the small engines at the Hearst house just 2 days ago. So I'm going to put that in, and I finally got, I don't know if you saw my emails to all of our groundskeepers. I finally got everybody's timesheets up until last Sunday anyways. And then there's this week. And I know they were working the other day, so hopefully I'll get their hours and be able to put it in on the last warrant. So, but as it stands right now, let's see, for wages, we were allocated $4,438. We've only used, except for this last round, which I'm sure is going to be quite a bit because it's since December. We had only used $663.78. So there'd probably be, close to that taken out again, but we'll see on that. And as for our operating expenses, we started out with $1,631. We've used $1,046.68, so we have a remaining $584.32, which usually we like to try to get that down a little bit more, but this year has just been one of those years with everybody being busy and all the transitions and everything else. And we didn't have some of the workshops that we wanted to, that we probably would have bought stuff for. So, so we're giving a little back this year, but not too much. Do you need those numbers again, Susan?
Yes, please, could you? Yes,
Yep.
I'd love the numbers again.
All right,
Thank you.
so for wages, we started out with $4,438. As of right now, basically as of December, we use $663.78, which leaves $3,774.22. But now I have all the hours from January to the end of the fiscal year. So, and I haven't totaled them up yet, but I think it's a fair amount. So we'll see. And then for the expenses themselves, it was $1,631 we started out with. We've used so far $1,046.68, leaving a balance of $584.32. With still one more warrant period to put stuff in.
So we use $1,406.68.
Yep.
So we started with
We started with
1631.
1631, yeah.
And we've used 1,014.
46.68.
Okay.
104668.
Yep. 1460.
No, 1046.
1046. Sorry. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Thank you very much.
No problem. Any questions on expenses and all that then? I mean, we didn't ask for any more this year. We've been kind of going right along with what we got. Some of the big things have come out of and I did not look that up, what the balance is in our expendable trust. But I can look that up and see where we are with that. So that's good with that. Other unfinished business. I wasn't sure if there was anything. It's always good to put that in just in case I forget something.
What about the dog?
Oh, yes, the dog. That's good. I did call the gentleman back and let him know that, we felt we needed to have it at a regular meeting to discuss this because it would set a precedent for, everything to follow. And a lot of cemeteries do not, allow just plain burial of animals. So, and I said, seeing you're kind of a really up against the, short time left, he said that he would, look for something else, another solution to his, I said,
the backyard is usually a good solution.
I mean, people have actually spent the money to have their pets cremated and then they can be buried with them afterwards. So he was just kind of wondering.
I mean, I've cremated pets when I didn't want to dig in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I have a bunch of ashes waiting to go with me.
Yeah. I completely understand.
Right.
And I think it's a valid question. I think it's something, if we wanted to discuss it more, and I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys do.
Oh, we do. It's actually, it is on the agenda further down the
Okay.
line.
Okay, so let's wait till we get there.
Sure, okay. All right. And
Is,
just quickly looking at the notes, I was supposed to send you guys the information for signing on to the Zoom in case you guys needed to run a meeting or start a meeting when I was not here.
right,
And I have not done that, so I will do that for you also on my list of things to do.
can we discuss the article in the, in the,
Oh, my
Oh.
gosh.
Yeah,
In-
let
in
me
the-
just see if I had that down
in the
on,
reminder, Shutesbury rules on green burial at Jewish cemetery?
Oh, did that happen?
That happened.
what did it say?
Shutesbury rules on green
Oh.
burial at Jewish cemetery.
So
Right,
the
okay.
Board of Health made a decision?
They did. Would you like me to read this to you?
If
Sure.
everybody has time, yeah.
I ought to get out my copy of the reminder. Which reminder is it?
It is June 15th to 21st
Okay,
of 2023. Yeah, last week, page 10. Top of the fold.
okay, top. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's a half-page article. It's quite a bit, but I'll read to you the pertinent parts. The board worked with the Cemetery Commission in 2017. It talks about that. They talk about setbacks. They talk about clarification of such. And what did they finally decide? Hilton found relevant information in the state of Maryland's regulations for on-site food disposal systems. This was so hard for them. They had to do so much research to find stuff on salts and potassium and other primarily non-threatening elements that remain within a foot of the original placement of a body. This is an interesting little bit. It says that matter migrates with the assistance of water. The groundwater at the JCA cemetery is below the level where bodies will rest. The hydrogeological conditions appear to be very good, Hilton said. 8 test pits were dug on the site. They were all 8 feet deep. Wow, that's a lot. It was done in March, the moment when the groundwater was at its highest point. None of them hit groundwater. Graves are less than 8 feet deep. Water flow through interments should be minimal. Board members seem to accept there would be little additional threat to water sources. Significant discussion centered on the density of green burials. The JCA began green burials in 2018 with about 6 plots used since. Karen Rhodes, who represented the JCA in its dealings with the board, clarified that green burials are being spread out to a lower density, in part to avoid disturbing tree roots, but also because both grassy and treed plots are being used for green burial. We had lawn area and forest area for green burial, Rhodes said. We have to give you a plan, but we do understand we are limited to 90 burial sites. So the total green burials allowed may be 91 with 85 remaining. And the abutter, Chris Elliott, asked pointed questions that clarified the burials will take place in a 1.5 acre area. Board members considered the entire acreage of the cemetery more important in calculating the number of green burials to allow. At the June 7th meeting of the Board of Health, the board ruled a distance no less than 100 feet be maintained between a natural burial and private water wells. For abutters across the street, the 100-foot setback measures from the road right-of-way that separates the homeowner's property from the road. No more than 50 green burials are allowed per acre in the cemetery. Green burials are also not allowed where the slope of the land is greater than 3:1, at least until the plot is stabilized. And the ruling applies only to green burials interred after February 15th, 2023.
Now, does that
Oh.
further say that that affects our cemeteries also, or is that a ruling just on that one cemetery?
I think we should check with Catherine about that. it should apply to all cemeteries in the town, I think.
Right.
That's my assumption, but that's definitely something one of us should ask Catherine.
Right, because the one thing that I think we're fine from all setbacks and all that other stuff is the density of burials. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's an interesting,
that, I mean, that's our, where we would fall short in that is, or go over, if you will, because I think we had, I'd have to look it up, but we had close to 200 and some odd lots chosen, and that's within an acre. I mean,
yeah, we may have to redraw. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's actually, it sounds like, Susan, there's two questions. One is, does this ruling apply to other cemeteries in town besides the JCA cemetery? And the second question is, so what I'm understanding that they did here, Walter, is that they said this applies to burials after February 15th, 2023, which is, I guess, when it came up for them. I don't know.
Right.
But we could ask the Board of Health to say, when does this apply to burials going forward in town cemeteries?
Right.
You know, so it is an interesting question.
Right, because it's changing the rulings after we, working with them, set, you know,
Yeah.
the specifics of our burials and locations. So
Yeah, so I don't know. So we need to officially ask them a question.
okay.
It would seem to me that they need to send us a report.
Yeah, that would have been good. And I don't know why that didn't happen. I saw Catherine at town meeting and we talked about me coming to this, and she was gonna send me an invite, and I think both of us forgot to follow up.
Okay. But still, I mean,
Yes, it would be good to have a report. And luckily I saw this in the reminder, and I really only saw it because my husband set it on my desk for me.
yeah,
Actually,
my
I
reminder usually just goes right into my discard pile.
Oh, you know what? They do more local reporting on Shutesbury than anybody else, than
Yeah.
the reporter, the Gazette, than anybody. And they do a pretty good job of it. Actually, it's pretty fair most of the time. And I know everybody thinks they're just selling advertising, but I don't get the bulletin. You know, so because I don't subscribe to the Gazette. And
Right.
so for me,
Well, nobody gets the book, or you have to pick it up.
well, yeah, but I don't go there much.
Yeah, I
Get
don't,
it in Greenfield.
but I do subscribe to that.
You know, anyway, I've come to appreciate the reminder, at least it comes to my mailbox.
Yeah, I know other people think it's worth reading.
Yeah, I did see that article, but to tell you the truth, I've been so busy, I haven't sit down and read it yet. So
Well, so
glad you
that
read it.
at least gives us an update on where things stand there, which is good to have.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So
And
I think we need to officially ask the Board of Health how these changes will affect our existing regulations on our green burials. Are we going to be held to the same density? And you know, how else it'll affect us, because that would change a lot of stuff. And seeing we're selling lots there, we
need to know.
we kind of need to know soon. Yep. Okay. That's good information to have. So
Well, maybe, well, we need to find out, but since our cemetery, the plan was laid out before February 23.
right. But they're just saying this applies to burials after that point.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't know if they pre-sell their lots or how they do them there. So
So do we need a motion about that?
I don't know if we actually need a motion, but if we want, we can. And Susan, if you want, I can work with you just to, get that information, and I'll put a little letter together or something, send them to and copy both of you as to what our questions are.
Oh, good. Thank you, Walter. That'd be helpful.
Yeah. Okay, so if you could just, afterwards take out that blurb of the minutes of just that part and send them to me so I can
Okay,
see, remind myself exactly what we talked about. I could I could probably watch the video too, but.
There-
if you
yeah,
do
so
that-
there won't be many details about the Board of Health's report on the Jewish cemetery.
Right.
Just
Okay.
the sections that are.
Yeah,
featured.
I can grab it from the article itself and all that too, but basically what we want to ask them is how the density that they've set up, is that
Yep.
going to affect ours? And
Is
for-
it just
Basically
that
for the
one
fact of
cemetery or
what
is it general?
we already set our regulations a long
Yeah.
time ago with them.
Yeah, but see, I mean, the JCA already had their regulations and stuff mapped out too and had to make changes. So
Right,
it may be that, yes, we have to make changes, but it doesn't affect burials and hopefully doesn't affect plots that are already sold. It's just going forward. That's my,
right. And I think,
you do have to ask.
yeah, and I think if they're making regulations that affect all the cemeteries, that we probably should have been there in that discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, we were at some of the preliminary ones, but they were just that was kind of fact finding more than anything.
Well, yeah, and actually the important preliminary one I was there for, so.
Right. Okay. Let me just put that for things to do. Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Anything else on unfinished business? Okay. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look and see the contract from the CPC that they sent us.
I did
Yeah,
not look at
I did.
this.
Okay, so that is something new. I've never seen that before. Or newer anyways, let's put it that way. And basically it's got 28, 30 page contract.
Wow.
I didn't read all of it. I just read the main parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's basically, I understand what it's to protect them because there have been projects over the years, even ours dragged on, our first one, but basically to say, we are, if we accept this, we are agreeing to get the work done within a reasonable amount of time. They give you a time frame, and if it takes longer than that, then they'll give you a written reminder that it needs to get done. They basically get like 30 days to finish it up, and if not, then they have the ability to take that money and take it back and use it for other things. And
Yep.
and it's basically to make sure when people come for these projects that they have their stuff together and they're ready to go with it, not get the money and sit on it for 5 or 6 years and not do anything and tie the money up. So
Yep, it's fair.
yeah, I think everything in it was a fair contract, but I think we should vote to officially sign it, accept it and sign it. And then I will do that and send it back to him.
Okay, so we probably need a motion to ask you to sign it.
Yes, so
I move that we request that Walter sign the contract with the I'm sorry, what commission again?
well, it's the CPC, so it's Community Preservation Committee and the town of Shutesbury and us.
I move that Walter sign the contract with the CPC and the town of Shutesbury for work on the cemetery going forward.
Okay, any discussion?
Maybe we should say for work on the current historic gravestones project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So amended.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, then, we'll do a roll call vote. Susan,
Aye.
Dina,
Hi.
and I vote aye also. Okay. I will get that signed and sent back to him.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Along with that, we don't have to necessarily do it tonight, but they did send out an applicant exit survey. And it was basically 6 questions on the process. I'll
Great.
send that out too. I forgot to send that out. And I think Susan, not to put more work on you, I think because you did a lot of it, you might have more reference to these questions than not. And I can still fill it out. I can work with you to do this, but basically the 6 questions were, how did you hear about the Community Preservation Committee and Community Preservation Act grant? Did you consult the CPC's website while preparing your application materials? If so, did you find the information there helpful? Was there any information you were hoping to find on the website but did not? That's question 2. Question
That's
3.
question 2. That's a long question.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
basically
thought
3
it was
questions. It's
several
basically
questions.
3 questions together. Yeah. 3 was, did you find the determination of eligibility form clear? If not, what parts or parts of it could be clarified or changed, and in what ways? 4, did you find the grant application form clear? If not, what parts or parts of it could be clarified or changed, and in what ways? 5, if you attended the CPC meetings to discuss your determination of eligibility and or your grant application, did you find the process helpful? Why or why not? And finally, is there anything else about the preparation and or application process on which you would like to comment? Or do you have any additional feedback about the process to share with the committee? So,
Okay, well, I don't mind filling it out and shipping it by people.
sure. Okay, and we can vote on it at next meeting and send it to them.
Okay.
All right,
Yep.
so I will forward that also to you guys.
Sounds great.
Is it part of the contract? Is it attached to the contract? or
No,
is-
it was a second separate email. It's actually in our email, the cemetery's email. So
Oh, okay, well, I can find it.
yeah, you should. There was 2 of them together. I think first was the contract, then was right after it was the survey.
It sounds like Mateo. being
Yeah.
official.
Right?
All right. Moving on. Now, one of you has to leave at a certain point, is it not tonight?
I don't have to leave till after 7. I'm good. My stuff changed.
Okay,
I made this more important.
all
quite
right.
quickly. And I was like, I can't be 2 places at one time.
No, it is hard. All right, so next on the agenda is the letter of resignation of our 2 groundskeepers.
Oh.
Oh,
Did you guys see that?
No.
Oh, okay, that was a while ago. Mike sent a letter of resignation to the committee. And basically him and Susan, they'll stay on till the end of the season, not the end of the fiscal year, because otherwise they're done as of Friday. But they said that they would stay on till the end of the season, basically fall, to help show whoever we get to take over basically the ropes, which is kind of nice. So we don't have to go start from scratch again.
Yeah.
And he sent a text to me, said, did you see my email? And I said, yes, I did. I'm, very sorry to see that you made the decision to leave, but I understand. I think it's more of, Susan, I think, is retired now from UMass Police, and well, she was a IT person for them. And Mike, I think it might be in that same position. I think they're looking at, spending more time together and doing things, enjoying life a little bit, and don't want to spend every weekend of the summer mowing lawns.
Right.
So, I did say that, I'm sorry to see him go, because, the cemetery hasn't looked this good in years, if ever.
It really does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they've been doing a wonderful job.
yeah.
So that brings, it's kind of like 7 and 8 on the agenda is talk about their letter of resignation, and then to the fact that we need to hire new people.
Yeah.
So, I haven't brought this to Becky yet. I want to bring it to our meeting first before bringing it to her, that the fact that we're gonna have to advertise for groundskeepers again. I push a little bit for Linus Miriam from Wendell or New Salem, who does the 2 smaller cemeteries, but I don't think he has the time to really put into them. He's been to each one of them. I haven't been to the Pratt Corner Road one in a little bit, but I was just up at the Locks Pond one, and it looked very presentable, which it hadn't for years.
Right.
So he is doing a good job there. We do need to start cutting back some stuff because it's just getting overgrown. There's some trees that are growing over what are actually, plots
Right.
that are for sale. So I will contact him to see if he's interested in any more hours or not, but it seemed to me when we were first talking about it, he was just interested in, a couple hours during the year to come out and take care of those two cemeteries. So that being said, we will have to look for somebody to
Do it.
do it. Yes.
So Walter, you've done this before, right? You hired Mike and Suzanne?
Yes, we've gone through this like 3 or 4 or 5 times in
Oh,
too
so
many
you-
recent years.
So you must know that that you've got the paperwork and know the process?
Yeah, we have a job description for the position, and working with Becky, it has to be advertised through the town. So working with her, they put out an advertisement for the groundskeepers, and then we've gone through the whole interview process, hiring process, and all that when there's more than one applicant that comes
Right.
in. So
We should be so lucky.
yeah, I mean, I was really hoping that they would stay on for several more years, but I also said I appreciate and understand, life choices and how things change in life, that you need to move on to other things. So that we were sorry to see them go. Really enjoyed their work and all that, and I appreciate the fact that they're going to stay on for a while to kind of help.
Yeah, that's great.
Show the ropes to
Yeah.
somebody, because they've really got the process down pretty good now.
Yeah.
The thing is, if we can only get one person, I mean, we were lucky because we had a couple, they worked together and got things done, a lot quicker. It's a little more daunting for one person to do it all.
Yeah,
So we may, have to look at that and see what we get for applicants and see if we can get multiple people that are willing to work together or not. So
gotcha.
You say that in the job description that we would take one person, but it would be ideal if we had two.
No, because I think the description itself just says what the job is. What it
Okay.
entails.
But the
There was
posting,
nothing in there that says whether it's one person, 2 people, or whatever. I think we can, in advertising that, we can see if we can word that such that, it's open, it could be
Look
open
for
for
one or more persons.
1 or 2 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah. Just
Wow.
when we finally get one thing straightened out and working really well.
Yeah, and the times that I was over there when they were there working, I really enjoyed working with them too.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
nice to be near.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were good. They were, they were pretty responsible by far, did a good job of doing things, took care and pride in what they did. That was a big thing. They took pride in what they
Yeah.
did.
And
So,
well, and it shows.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It definitely does.
And remember they came to one of our meetings, at least one of our meetings, and they had some good suggestions.
Yep. Yep.
So they will be missed.
Yes, they will. That's for sure. All right, so I will bring that up to Becky now that we're going to be losing them, and and I don't see any reason why we can't have them work as well as somebody else work for at least those, that period of time from
Yep.
July or to whatever we hire. We won't have
I
somebody hired
haven't
by
been
July
over
1st
that.
for sure. And I think our budget can definitely absorb that cost.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, so we'll deal with that. Next, I wanted to bring up something that we need to talk about and maybe figure out how to word it to put it into our regulations. I know I talked about with you at one of our meetings where there was somebody that they had their own headstone, they wanted to put it in their family plot, they wanted to do the installation. I was supposed to mark it out but they didn't really say exactly when they were going to be doing it. It said, so I did not get to mark it out by the time, I think I was on the road or something this day. They called me and said, oh, we're heading there right now to put the stone in. I was like, well, I really didn't get to mark it out exactly where the stone needs to go. And they said, oh, that's all right. We know exactly where the lot is and where the headstone's going to go and all that. I said, all right, but I really feel nervous about that because I've had people without, unbeknownst to us, put, stones in on the plot and turn out that it wasn't even their plot. Well, it did turn out that this person that was going to put the headstone in was the same family that had put the big rock on the wrong plot. And I didn't realize till the end. I got done talking with them. I said, "Oh, by the name, you never told me your name. Who are you?" And she said, and I went, "Oh, okay." And then it hit me. It's like, "Oh, these are the same people." Well, when I went up to look at, do the sale on the green burial plot, I went over and looked at it, and they pretty much got it on their plot, but it's not really lined up. It's not square. It kind of looks like it just, all right, here's close enough, and just dropped it in there. So I then marked out the whole plot and marked out they bought it's an 8-plot lot. I marked out the plot where the gravestone should have gone. And the thing is, I don't have a good number to contact them. I think I have one from part of the family, but I'm really not sure. And I may just take it upon myself to go out there and move it and put it in the right place. It's just a flat, level to the ground stone, sticks up just a little bit. So it's just, I can move it so it's in the correct position. But I think we need to have something in our regulations that states that nobody can install, or private people cannot install a grave marker or a headstone without permission from the cemetery commission, and having them mark it out prior to installation,
Yeah.
or some kind of wording like that,
That
because
seems reasonable. I mean, we're not prohibiting it. We're
No.
saying we just need to communicate well.
right, they need to let me know when it's going to be with adequate notice, not we're on our way there to do it. So yes, they did tell me beforehand, but I don't like to mark it out too early, because lots of times the markings get washed away by the weather and all that. It just so happens I blame myself half of it because I didn't get out there and put pins or anything in. But the fact when they called and I wasn't even in town, and then they said, yeah, we're on our way there. It's like, oh boy, this is not good. So I will take it up on myself to move it and square it up so it looks nice. But then also get a hold of them and let them know that they did not get it quite right. And then I took it upon myself to move it. I think in the future, if we have people that do that, we may charge them for it.
I think definitely. I was going to suggest you ought to charge these folks.
Well, and it should certainly be in the regulations that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's completely reasonable. It's your labor and time
Yeah,
and.
because it's not the first one that's happened. There's another one that was put in not on somebody's grave. They thought it was on the grave. It was right above it, but it was actually on somebody else's plot. So, or a plot that hadn't been sold yet. So we need to make sure that people don't do this, or there's some kind of penalty or something.
Yep.
Okay. So do we want to draft language for that, or?
Yeah, we can draft it and then vote on it probably next. Think about it and see if we want to add anything to it. But I would say it should say something of that, no person shall install a gravestone or headstone or grave marker without prior permission from the cemetery commission, and not install it until such time as the cemetery commission has marked out the proper location or something like that. I'm sure there's a better way to put it, but those are the two key things, that they can't just go ahead and put it in without getting our permission, and they can't put it in until we've marked out where it's supposed to go.
That's pretty basic.
You would think, but
Well, you know. Here we all are being creative and making it up as we go along.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if we want to try to come up with something now or just wait till next meeting and vote on it then.
Susan,
Okay, this is what I've got.
Okay,
no,
No private individual shall install a gravestone or marker without prior permission from the cemetery commission. And no private individual shall install a gravestone or marker until the cemetery commission has marked out the place for the stone.
oh, I like that.
or proper location, yeah,
The proper location for the stone?
yeah.
Okay. Okay,
I mean, that's what all the monument companies do. They contact us, we go out and mark it out, and they come in and install it, so
Yeah, exactly.
should be no different for private people.
It's actually nice that we accommodate private people. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I try to be accommodating as much as we can, but there's still things you gotta
Have rules about.
keep it regulated to some extent.
When we're done, I have a next question.
Okay, done
Do
with
we-
this or done
hang
with
on,
everything?
do we want to add the fine or the,
Oh, yeah,
Sure. Do we want to make it like $100 or something like that? It's gotta be enough
Sure.
that people will pay attention to it.
I agree. That works for me.
anyone not following these regulations will be charged a fine of $100.
Yeah,
Okay,
Well, they'll be in the minutes, so you can check and see if you want to change the language.
okay.
Okay. all right. All right, so do we want to vote on that now, or do we want to wait till next meeting?
I can go either way.
Same.
Okay, well, we'll make a motion to, or I'll make the motion to accept the addition to our regulations regarding private persons installing grave markers or headstones.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, further discussion? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and do the roll call vote. Susan,
Aye.
Dina,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye also. Thank you.
And the motion carries. So here's my other question, apropos where the bodies are. Are we going to initiate some sort of a mapping project?
We really should. There's things I've kind of talked about. I would love to do. I'm kind of doing it as future sales and burials. But I'd really love to put together like a 3-ring binder, a book that has a page for each lot. And as best as we can, lay out even a picture of it in the corner or something like that, but lay out, if it's an 8-plot lot, okay, here's the 8 plots where people are buried or where they aren't. And some of that we aren't going to be able to know because we have lots that we don't know if anybody's buried in them or not. Those are the,
That's why I'm asking. So,
Yeah.
you know,
and I
some,
think at some point we should look at again what it would cost to have somebody do ground penetrating radar.
I talked to one of the cemetery commissioners in Barry, who I'm friendly
Yep.
with now. We have lunch. It's such an, we never would have met if we hadn't been at the same cemetery commissioner
Wow.
conference, right? Now we're friends. It's very nice. But
Good.
they did this and it wasn't, and in all 7 of their cemeteries, I think. And
Wow.
it was not prohibitively expensive.
And if
She
you
said it
could-
was like a couple $1,000s. It was not a lot of money.
Okay, if you could get from her what company
You
they
did it?
use and all that information, that would be great. I mean, that might even be something, I mean, we we did get the $3,000 from the Friends of the Historical Society. That, could we use part of that for doing this? Because that would really help us
Yeah, I mean,
get our
even,
record straightened out of,
right,
maybe
even
if not who, but if.
even if
anybody's
what
buried
we
there.
do this year is get a proposal to take to town meeting
Right,
for the money, I think it's something we should start, a project we should start moving along.
yes,
Okay, the Friends had voted to give us $3,000 to use for further historical restoration projects.
okay, so that's for the restoration project, so.
Yeah.
We can either ask the town for money at next town meeting, or we can. We do have the expendable trust fund, if it's not that much, who knows, maybe in that time we'll get some. Anonymous donations,
Open and be able to use that, yeah, or an
especially if
anonymous,
we can get an idea of how much it would cost, if we can get, talk to the person that they had do and say, all right, we want to do it in this cemetery. This is the areas, especially the ones, I mean, the more modern ones where we know where people are buried and not buried, that's not a problem. It's the ones that say unknown. We have quite a few lots that say unknown.
right,
And if we can prove that or show that there's nothing there, that opens that lot up for sale again.
exactly.
And if there is, then we know at least there's something there, and we should be able to kind of
And
map it
respect
out.
that as appropriate.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
some
like-
of the older ones that they're family plots, they don't necessarily, headstones may not necessarily line up with things, so just if we can figure out who and what and where, it makes, and then if we did like I said, a book like that,
Yeah,
and it's each lot is divided up into 8 things, and we can just mark road, and road 5 and road 6 or whatever, give it some kind of location and north, south, east, or west, which way you're facing from that, and mark them out. Because part of the thing is, over the years, people have done things, they've split them up different ways. We now have them numbered, the lot and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And so if somebody buys only 4 or 2 or only 1, we can know exactly which one it is. In past, what they've done is like, oh, you want to divide it up, okay, well, there's 4 and 4, we'll call it, lot 262 A and B. But that just is, again, doesn't distinguish what part of the lot it is and what actual burial plot. And some of them were done A, B, C, D, in one direction, the other, or up, down, or all across, and then back. So, in the end, I've kind of like the whole newer section and the green burials, it was already started. So I've kind of kept everything in that section labeled the same way, but unfortunately the rest of the cemetery is kind of hit or miss over the years. So,
well, I think that if we can get this mapped out over, the next couple years, however we go about funding it and stuff, that future cemetery commissioners will thank us greatly.
oh, absolutely. Believe
You
me,
know-
it's worth way more than a bottle of Advil to the headaches that it's caused. So
we're looking for my second great grandmother who's buried in Mount Auburn. And Mount
Oh,
Auburn claimed that she was in a certain area, but there was no headstone because a lot of times people couldn't afford a headstone.
right, yep.
oh, that's so interesting. I spent hours and hours and hours in a cemetery near Pasadena, out in the hills, worrying that I was gonna get like eaten by a mountain lion.
Yeah.
And it was a cemetery where all the stones were flat to the ground, which I was used to, and I found it disconcerting. And I was looking for my aunt and my cousin, and I found my aunt, but I spent another 3 hours looking for my cousin and never found him, and finally called my mother from the cemetery and said, "Where is he?" And she said, "We didn't put up a marker."
Yeah.
I know there's some in
I
Shutesbury.
was heartbroken.
Yeah, I know there's one grave in Shutesbury. There's absolutely no marker. There's a marker for the wife, but no marker for the husband. And unless you knew it, nobody would even know where he is.
Right,
And I know it just historically. So,
Right.
yeah, it would be really nice, and I don't think it'd take a lot, it'd take more time than anything, to at least, and I can even sit on the computer here and make out a plot for each page, and then
Right.
just print a whole bunch of them out sequentially numbered, and then we can just, as we have time, go through and just mark down what we see, what's there, and then, move on in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and-
Those memories, that information that you have that the husband is buried but has no stone, I mean, that
Yeah.
needs to go on there too.
Yeah,
As long
absolutely.
as people know stuff like that, we need to make, record their knowledge.
Yep,
Exactly.
definitely.
Cool. This is actually for me, so this stuff is the fun part about being a cemetery commissioner, because we all learn and we find out new things and we make things better for the future. I like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
Well, I was thinking it
for the
might be.
future as well as, go ahead, sorry, Susan, go ahead.
Gonna say, can we wait and do this after we've got this current project of historic preservation done?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean,
Okay.
I can start putting together the book and all that in my spare time, but to actually get out there and do it and then say, oh, like, let's get prices for doing the, I
can
mean,
start
I would say
looking
next,
information.
next time you see your friend there, try to get that information, and we'll work on maybe even getting the person out here to say, this is the area, this is what we need. Can you give us a estimate and
Estimate.
price?
Exactly.
So then we can start moving forward to getting that done.
Just the next steps, exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's not even on here, but we have it in the minutes, so
I know.
otherwise I'll forget. The last thing I have on the agenda for a discussion topic is discussion about burial of pets in the cemetery, which we wanted to talk about.
I want to weigh in, especially because I have to leave in about 12 minutes.
Yep.
People have really, I personally don't have very strong feelings about this. It doesn't bother me, but I do think, Susan's point about the yard is good. There are so many people who would have deeply strong feelings against this.
Right.
That I would and feel very emotional about the sanctity, that it would change the sanctity of the burial ground. And this is not, like I said, it's not a feeling I share, but I think it's such a strong feeling and such a strong cultural thing, that if we were going to be open to this, we should tread very carefully, because I think there are people who might be really upset by it.
Hmm.
That's my,
Right. And I don't know if any other cemeteries have been approached by this, about this, if they've set regulations or not. I do know that there is one pet that is buried off in the woods, and there's a little headstone for it that somebody just went up and did at some point, Lord knows when, because it's been there a long time.
can I make a funny, almost funny confession?
Sure.
In the mid-80s, the day after some hurricane, our dog died. And we lived in Medford, we lived in Boston, and we took her to the vet, and she was put down, and we wrapped her in a blanket and drove all the way from Boston to Pelham and hiked up into the woods and buried her with a very special rock over her. And we brought her someplace she had loved to play. This happens all over the place all the time.
Yeah.
Just does.
Yeah, I think I told you probably the story about going into the cemetery, the big cemetery in Amherst with a friend who wanted to bury her cat's ashes next to her husband, and we dug a plant, put the ashes in the space, and then put the plant back.
At Wildwood or at West
With
Cemetery?
Wildwood.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to tell them. They're not really looking.
And I think, again, there's a big difference between, cremated remains and a body of an animal or a person.
There is.
I agree. I agree.
I just, I would love to say, oh, we should be open-minded about this. That would be my inclination personally. But I have spent enough time in cemeteries with families to understand that for people who feel that this ground is sacred for them, and would be offended by finding out that we were allowing, it's one thing somebody sneaks it in, but if we were allowing animals to be buried, it
And
would be an issue.
then you kind of set a precedent. Well, what animals do we allow? Do we allow
Oh, really?
cats and dogs only? Do you allow, llamas and horses?
What are we starting to
and-
bury? Well, and so again, but are we allowing cremated remains of animals?
We, again, have never really been directly asked that question. I know there are some people who plan on, they've had their pets cremated and they will be buried with them when they are buried. But we've never had anybody come and say, hey, I've got my cremated remains of my dog, can I buy a lot and bury them? That has not happened, so.
Right, but we assume that people add cremated remains of pets to other burials, and we
You don't say anything about it.
don't regulate it, and we it's a sort of don't ask, don't tell thing, right?
Yeah.
That's how it's kind of been in the past, yes.
I think Wildwood, it's forbidden. That's one reason we did it quietly.
Yeah, I think a lot of burial grounds, it's so I will tell you, in my understanding of burial grounds in New England, it is rare. And it is rare that it's encouraged, right? I think it is not rare that it is that there is sort of a blind eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall ever having anybody ask or have, found out that somebody went in there and buried the cremated remains of one of their animals on their plot. In most cases, with the ones that I know are going to do it, are going to, they're doing more of a traditional, if you will, burial with a full casket, and the ashes will be in the casket with
which is
them.
a different thing, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There are still cemeteries that don't allow that either, but
Wow.
I just figure what they don't know won't hurt them.
Right.
Yeah. But we certainly don't want to have regulations one way or the other
Thank
About-
you.
about cremains, is my sense.
Right.
Mine too. And we can just, if people ask, we can just say, we don't have a regulation about that. We appreciate your discretion.
But should we have a regulation banning just burial of the bodies of animals? Pets.
Well, no, I don't think so. I mean, if somebody wants to do it, as this gentleman did, we can say, I'm sorry, we can't do that.
Yeah,
If you said we wouldn't permit the burial of animals, that suggests the bodies of animals, that suggests we wouldn't permit cremains, and we are not going online to say,
Right.
we're writing it out that we wouldn't permit cremains. We could solve this problem by opening up an adjunct cemetery, which was for pets.
oh, we could, but let us read the state's regulations on that first.
Oh, really?
Oh, I just, it would be wise for us to know if there are any.
Yeah.
Not in our existing cemetery, but off to the side.
Yeah, no, we'd have to designate an area, and
Right.
it certainly could be worth discussion. I have 4 minutes. Is there anything important? we
No,
need-
after this was just items not anticipated 40 hours prior to the meeting, and then set the date for the next meeting.
Okay, so We don't have any unanticipated. We've already dealt with Dina's unanticipated.
I mean, the only thing I have, and I will just let you know that it just came up, it was an email from a Side Ryman, who had just gotten elected to the Pelham Cemetery Commission and wants information on how we do work mowing our cemeteries and how much it costs and all that. So I'll just address his questions and
Thank you.
send it back to him.
Yeah,
So, July 19th, which would that be our time or would it be the 12th? The July 19th, I'm not available.
no, the second Wednesday
Ah,
is
which
CO.
is the 12th.
So do it.
I can do it the 12th.
So we're looking at the 12th.
No, please
Oh.
not the second. The second is COA.
Okay,
Oh, and I can't do the 3rd. So
Well,
that puts us out to the 26th.
so you can't do the 19th? Is that what you're telling us?
I can't do the 19th.
all right. So that leaves either the 5th, which is basically next week, or the 26th.
I really don't want to do it next week. Book sale starts.
Yeah, and
Let's
it's
look at
why
the-
have a meeting a week after we just had one, so
Yeah, no point to
do we
that.
want to shoot for July 26th then?
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
All right, July 26th, 6 p.m.
In my book. Nice to see you both.
Yeah,
All
So-
right,
been a while.
Yeah, I
Already
know, but we actually saw each other in person at town meeting, which was so nice.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
all right, so we'll take a motion for adjournment.
I'll move to adjourn.
All
Second.
right. All right, probably there's no discussion on that, so let's see, Susan,
Yeah, aye.
Dina,
Aye.
and I vote aye also. All right,
You
so I'm
guys
gonna
next one.
stop the recording.
At